A great advantage of self-guided public land hunting is the freedom to choose where you hunt, when you hunt, and what you want to shoot. But some states have unique rules, as with this New Mexico antelope hunt, that require an adjustment to your expectations. I'm faced with that very situation right now. I felt fortunate to draw one of the 2 self-guided non-resident tags in this area where the good ranches are known to produce quality bucks. I'm one of only 4 hunters assigned to a 64,000-acre ranch, and on paper, it all sounds like the recipe for a whopper buck. But after a day of scouting and talking to locals, I'm beginning to believe their warnings of how unlucky this ranch assignment can be.
Not looking good. I was told this was a tough ranch to be assigned. Flew in this morning, didn't even bother to change clothes, just came out here and been out here all afternoon. I've not seen an antelope, nor have I seen a track. And talked to the biologist. He said when they did the flights here in June, there were 100 antelope out here somewhere. But it's 100 square miles. This looks to me like it's gonna be the toughest antelope hunt I've probably ever been on. Okay, now you people are really gonna think I lost my mind. For a day of scouting and a half a tank of gas, I finally found a set of antelope tracks. Maybe it's not a complete loss yet. Antelope hunting is one of my favorite things in the world to do. New Mexico antelope hunting is even more fun. But I'm really at a loss on this one. This is not a trophy hunt, I will tell you that. This is just a hunt to hopefully find a buck.
Big game hunting is often about managing expectations. After a frustrating scouting day and the reports from some past tag holders, a lot of hunters might throw in the towel and go home with an unfilled tag. Not me. I take this as a personal challenge. I was on my way back to the hotel, and as futile as it seemed, I decided to stop and investigate this one group of antelope tracks I'd found, and I'm glad I did. They've led me to the first live antelope I've seen, a decent, mature buck.
This could be the biggest stroke of luck of the whole trip. I don't know what to do. I mean, if this guy made himself available in the morning, do you want to shoot him first thing? Here in New Mexico, you only get a 3-day season in the rifle hunt. So there's not a lot of time to screw around. And from what I'm seeing here, there's not a lot of time to be picky. Even if I don't decide to shoot him, at least to have found some antelope to put a stock on, it's a whole lot more encouraging than how I felt just about an hour ago.
It's opening morning of our 3-day quest for a New Mexico pronghorn buck. And even though the scouting was beyond tough, it's always exciting to start a new hunt. And today, I've got an extra set of eyes to help in the search. My longtime hunting buddy, Mike Spitzer.
Mike's my good luck charm. When we were in Kansas, Mike and I were hunting mule deer 3 years ago? Or no, whitetail, 3 years ago. I thought we weren't gonna see anything, but Mike walks around with rabbits in his hat and he just pulls them out at convenient times. So I'm counting on him, but we spotted those antelope right at daylight here. They're down in this bottom, and we're trying to get an eyeball of where the buck is and what kind of buck we're looking at here. We can get over to those trees and disappear.
Yeah, let's get in the trees and we'll just come right up under the dirt
up on that mound there. Ready?
Yep. So we thought we'd put a stalk on this group of antelope that we had found and see how close we could get, really try and pick them apart and see what kind of quality we were looking at in this buck. And so we had just been going up the trail, just started walking, and I was just in the lead, just enough to see a buck at 50 yards. Randy, there's a buck. There's a buck at 50 yards right around the street. He just came right out. He doesn't look as big as the one that we are looking at in the scope. He just came right out. We got a good look at him. He was snorting and wheezing at us, and had a great encounter with an antelope just the first morning. So once we left the buck that we'd had a close encounter with, we continued to sneak around to try and gain some elevation on this group that we'd been seeing out in the basin. And sure enough, we were able to get within just a few hundred yards. He's not that big. He's got better prongs. Does he? He's not the same. He looks heavier. He does look heavier. Yeah, this guy's definitely got better prongs and better mass. Yeah, he's like a 73 or 74 inch buck, I think. I mean, generally, if you're lucky enough to draw a New Mexico rifle antelope tag, going all out for something better, but you get the pick of the crop. I mean, well, we found 2 bucks the first morning. That's better than I thought we were gonna do. He carries the mass up into the prongs, just gonna help him out a little bit. Yeah. But you're right, 72 to 74 right in there. Yeah. Not gonna shoot him this morning. What do you say we sneak out of here? That's a great idea. Yeah.
And though it was a risk, the combined experience Mike and I have hunting antelope made it a little easier to walk away from our first decent buck.
Hey.
There he is, little guy.
Our confidence as experienced antelope hunters may have been a false sense of security, and I left there knowing full well that in this group of antelope could be the only decent buck we might see in a 3-day season.
Well, Mike, 4 hours of hoofing it shows 1 decent buck, 1 small buck, and 1 itty-bitty buck. We'll go see what else we can find before I get too desperate. I don't want to hit the panic button the first morning.
As you look at the amazing lands in this episode, understand that a lot of the access to these public lands has been provided by the Land and Water Conservation Fund. To date, Congress has diverted $17 billion away from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Yet, even with those diversions, LWCF has still provided hunting and fishing access to millions of acres of public land.
This one requires inspection before progressing.
After finding a few bucks in the morning, our New Mexico antelope hunt has quickly turned into that difficult grind I thought it would be.
My truck is narrow enough to make it, assuming this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Accessing much of this ranch by truck was going to be impossible.
If you go fast.
So, to get anywhere and see anything, we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, on 2 legs. After finally reaching some high ground, we relied upon the other key pieces of equipment vital to any antelope hunt, our loop-holed optics. I rely on a complete optics system, especially on a long-range antelope hunt like this, and Loophole has a solution for every piece of that system, It starts with a quality spotting scope to pinpoint and analyze every buck. Once I find them, my Leupold binoculars keep me on track during the stalk. The system really shines when it's time for the shot. Leupold makes an integrated system that uses rangefinder technology and customized scope dials to provide the easiest and most effective system I've found. The Leupold CDS scope system is matched to your ballistics. You send them the load information, and they create your custom dials based on the information you send them. Which leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, the Leupold TBR rangefinder that calculates the total ballistic range at any distance, at any angle. Dial in that range number on your CDS dials, and the system is complete. Oh, I forgot to mention that it's all rock solid and tough as nails. I claim Mike inadvertently decided to test. Ooh.
That's
why Leupold makes such tough stuff.
Leupold makes tough stuff.
With the spotting scope faring a whole lot better than the tripod and adapter, we continued this grueling trek to locate a quality buck. And while we did manage to see a few more antelope, none came close to the first buck we saw that morning. And by the end of a very long day, my mind was made up.
I've thought about it, Mike. The sun's going down. Tomorrow's the second day. I don't want to get in a last day situation.
Yeah.
If I see that buck tomorrow morning, unless you talk me out of it, I'm shooting him if I get a chance.
Well, right now we've got the same mindset. We'll see if he's even there in the morning when we go look for him.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Don't get your hopes that wound up, Randy. He might not even be there. When we're driving out the second morning, Mike says, Randy, it seems like we should probably just set our expectation as, let's make it our goal to find the biggest antelope we can find on this property. Let's see if we can find the biggest buck that lives here, and let's shoot him. And regardless of whether he's 16 inches or 12 inches, whether he's really heavy or he's not heavy, big prongs or short prong, let's just do that, and let's make that our goal. And we're glassing. And we're glassing. And we're glassing. There's no antelope. I'm like, oh no. It'd be bad as if the fourth hunter who we haven't located yet came in here and shot that buck yesterday.
That'd be a little disheartening. Because there's a steep drop off after this buck.
Yeah, after this buck, the quality goes way down.
It's day 2 of our short 3-day New Mexico antelope hunt, and I've narrowed my search to a single, average-sized buck that Mike Spitzer and I think is as big or bigger than anything on this 64,000-acre ranch. It's a buck I let walk on opening morning, thinking I could easily find him again if I had to. Well, now I have to, and so far, I haven't.
I think that they're probably moving somewhere to bed or to rut, Mike. I think we might want to just follow this little 2-track, walk out there and just glass and glass, and if we don't see them in any of these benches that are out there, we get up on that far bench. So we circle back around the mesa. We're south of where they've been rutting, and we circle back coming north, and there's a big rim that drops down. We look down and aha, there's a buck down there. But he's not the big buck. I think he was the buck I passed at 50 yards opening morning. I'm gonna wait right on this knob right here. I know it might sound stupid to just sit and wait in a pronghorn spot, but I've hunted pronghorns so much. I know that when you find all the rubs or all the scrapes that I've found down there, and you've got water nearby, and they've been in here 2 of the 3 days I've been here, they don't leave spots like that. They come back.
All right, Randy, I think we found a few. Looks like there's 3 does and a pretty decent buck out here.
It's the buck from opening morning and the buck from the scouting night. Pull out my GPS, I look. As the crow flies, he's 1.6 miles. He's right at the toe of this little ridge. We're under a half mile away right now, so I'll try to stay up a little higher in elevation. We'll just go single file once we start getting up on these rocks. So I just got to be careful that I'm not rolling rocks down because they'll hear that. I'm trying to get, our wind is kind of going towards them here, trying to get a little more this way of them. So I wanted to benefit the wind, but to get between them and the boundary, so if we mess up this stock, at least they come this way, and we'll have another chance maybe. So I try to get to this little rise. It gives me a little bit of benefit of elevation. And when we get there, I walk around this pinyon and I look out there and I can see the last doe. They're feeding and they're coming now. They're leaving their bed and they're going downhill and to my left. And I told Mike, I said, they're coming right here. Let them keep coming this way. Once they get behind those trees, I'm gonna get up and move. I'm just moving straight out in front of you so I can clear this grass. He's still behind the tree. There's a window about 10 feet wide with no brush. And I'm thinking, man, how nice would it be if that buck walked right into that window and gave me a shot? And I look up, and that's exactly what the buck is doing. He's dead.
He's hit hard. He's going down.
There, he's down.
Nice job,
Thanks,
Randy.
Mike.
Great shot.
Well, 217 yards. If I can't make that shot with a bipod, and time to quit. That's probably the hardest I've worked for a buck, an antelope buck, in a long time. I can't remember the last time I worked harder. Oh, I'm gonna go get my pack. Let's go take a look at him.
Your pack. That's great.
Thanks, Mike.
There goes.
Sure appreciate it.
Well done.
Success is always better when shared with a great friend.
And when you work this hard for it.
That's true. He's not huge, but he's got good mass.
He's pretty, Randy.
He's a beautiful buck. Mike, that buck is a lot better than I thought he was.
He's heavy on top.
Yeah, his mass above the prongs is way better. Yeah, look at that. That has got good upper mass.
Look at that top end.
Yeah. As weird as this sounds, folks, this is the biggest buck in this unit, I am sure.
There's no doubt. He's pretty.
I'm sure of it. Yeah, he's very pretty. Very happy to get him. Thank you, Mr. Buck.
No matter where you hunt, what weapon you're hunting with, or what you're hunting for, if you match your expectations to the situation that exists, you won't be disappointed. And when the buck you're chasing makes you work your tail off and puts all your skills to the test, it's not a record book score that counts. That buck is a trophy. And this buck is certainly a trophy to me.